Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Xinfin Network, aka XDC. So let's just dive in and let's start off with the overall price of XDC. So as we look at a lot of these top assets like XRP, you even look at ADA, XLM, etc. They're all extremely talked about all the time. XDC continues to be that one that kind of just trails under the radar, and I think that a lot of people just kind of overlook it simply because of the use case potential of it. I think that a lot of people don't care about trade finance, which is totally fine. I'll take the opportunity here to accumulate this thing because I said it time and time again, long term, I do think that XDC will become a very large piece of the puzzle around trade finance. Also, when you are looking at the adoption of DLT technology, it is on the rise. Many nations are moving forward on DLT-based initiatives as well as DLT-based use cases to disrupt significant pieces of their entire economy. Trade finance is a market that it might not have a $100 trillion price tag on it, but it does have trillions of dollars tied to it and ultimately disrupts everyday life. So Xinfin focusing on that is a great opportunity because they are one of a few blockchain-based technologies that are actually focused on trade finance. Now, with that in mind, I do want to move over to this article here. So I seen this article get posted back in the beginning of March. It was March 6th to be specific, and it was saying what tokenization is and how it can unlock illiquid and opaque markets. And this is from Nasdaq.com. Now, it does mention Larry Fink talking about the next generation for markets, the next generation for securities will be tokenization of securities. Now, obviously, BlackRock is a massive deal. They're a huge assets under management company, or I should say an asset manager company with $10 trillion assets under management. Now, they are not the only one. JP Morgan also talked about tokenization. Swift talked about tokenization. So many large names have talked about tokenization and touted it as a major opportunity within finance, but also even outside of finance. There's a lot of other major markets that are being disrupted by it, like real estate, for an example. But this whole thing breaks down tokenization. It's extremely bullish on tokenization. Doesn't really mention too much about the major projects that are tied to it. They do talk about a few things around FTX, for an example, and stuff like that. But mainly, I did want to talk about the challenges here, and I also want to talk about the benefits because in a recent video I actually made on XRP, it's the one from earlier today, I talked about Citigroup's breakdown of tokenization and how large it could essentially be. We also did talk about the $32 trillion opportunity for tokenizing debt. That's a huge area of focus, but there's a few challenges that we need to get around. First off, they do mention loss of private keys if the asset still exists. The underlying asset is lost, but its tokenized representation still exists. Scalability, regulation. Now, in my opinion, these top three could easily be solved just with technological advancements around this market. I still think that even cold storage, for an example, I love cold storage, but for the most part, you're not going to see mass adoption of crypto if you are going to go through your ledger and utilize that for storage. You know what I mean? So we need to make things a lot more accessible as well as user friendly. But regulations definitely is a big one. That's a massive obstacle to success around this entire industry, which I've talked about. I think that it is a major one that we need to get past. But with time, I do think that we will, get past it. Now, benefits. I seen somebody comment on my XRP video from earlier, and I welcome it. If you guys do want to comment, you guys are more than welcome to comment. Obviously, I welcome it. But he basically asked me how will tokenization benefit any of these markets? How will it benefit debt, for an example? Well, I mentioned the fact that tokenization opens the door for a lot of opportunity. One, it makes illiquid asset classes liquid, which is the main one that a lot of people focus on. But then you have fractionalization, which allows anyone to really kind of jump into the asset class and invest, which in my opinion is going to bring a ton of capital to a lot of these asset classes. We could possibly see, real estate boost a massive amount of money, because right now it's a $300 trillion asset class without fractionalization. Now imagine you have fractionalization. I mean, you could add easily another 50 to $100 trillion onto that asset class just by fractionalization. It's a huge area of opportunity. But then you have digitization, right? You're digitizing the entire process, which means you're cutting back on paper documentation. The cost associated with it is cut. And also the entire process is streamlined at a lower cost benefit, which is incredible. So the benefits here are great. They're absolutely massive for a lot of these markets that are ripe for disruption, mind you. But also, let's talk about the price point associated with it. So here we have from Cointelegraph.com. This is the article that I utilized in my XRP video, and it's talking about the killer use case around crypto, or I should say blockchain technology. And when you see Citi says trillions in assets could be tokenized by 2030. Now, we have incredible opportunities here in terms of, corporate and sovereign debt, real estate funds, all that kind of stuff. But then do you see this market down here that gets extremely overlooked? Trade finance. They're saying $1 trillion could be tokenized by 2030. That's a very large amount of money if you think about it, especially if you go back to XDC, you calculate the overall market cap here and the fully diluted market cap. Like, honestly, I could see $200 billion being added to XDC's market cap within the next couple years, maybe 2030, right? By 2030, it could definitely be a possibility. But the overall value of trade finance is 12 trillion. Like, we're talking about small amounts, right, trickling in. Imagine us actually tokenizing $12 trillion or $187 trillion. Like, this is the opportunity that is locked behind the obstacles to success for crypto. So you have regulations, which is a big obstacle, but then you also have the technological advancements that are necessary, meaning interoperability is a big portion for it. They need to adopt interoperability standards. There's a lot that goes into this for them to actually adopt this type of technology and utilize it. But we are starting to see the things put in place for this to be allowed, meaning we're starting to see regulations being discussed. We're seeing technological advancements through like Quant's Overledger that allows for traditional systems to interoperate with, of course, DLT. Like, there's a lot of things being taken care of on those fronts, which is exciting because we are almost at that pinpoint in time where we get over the obstacles and then boom, mass adoption happens. And it doesn't even need to be mass adoption in terms of, your friend and their friend and everyone that they know all buying crypto. No, it's them utilizing crypto without them even realizing it. Now, also, I do want to take you guys over here to TradeTech. So we do see Investment Week explores how private debt assets can benefit investors battling against volatility. TradeTech facilitates the repackaging of these assets with its securitization as a service. Learn more about the advantages of the private market at TradeTech. And what's crazy about this is that TradeTech continues to expand rapidly. I just seen them actually post a video of them. So it was actually this video here. And this is them working with Africa Finance, allowing to boost financing to African nations. TradeTech has started to expand rapidly in just the recent months alone, and I'm very excited about this because obviously everything that they do, their entire tech stack isn't built out on Xinfin, but they do leverage Xinfin for a few things. And again, that tokenization and digitization as a service for a lot of those documents is one that they do leverage, which is very exciting because, again, this is one of the main companies that is seeing a lot of success leveraging and utilizing Xinfin for trade finance. But also outside of what TradeTech is doing, you got to remember that there's a lot more companies that are in the pipeline for Xinfin that are already utilizing their services. For example, Comtech, they're tokenizing gold and silver. This is huge, right? And we've talked about them and we broke them down in the past. Now, me personally, I just like to buy physical gold and silver. You guys know me, I'm very adamant about that. But I still think that tokenization will start with gold, silver, then it will move to real estate, then it will move from real estate to financial instruments. Like, we are going to start to see this move rapidly. And I'm very excited for this because a lot of what we are seeing here is telling me that the tokenization blockchains, the blockchains that are centered out on tokenization, they have a forefront being built around this, and they see the focus on how large tokenization will be. They're going to be extremely successful going forward on in time. And I'm very excited for tokenization of gold and silver as well, because again, this is a very large use case, and it does put a spotlight on how crucial crypto could be for many asset classes, including, gold and silver and commodities. Now, also outside of this, I do want to take you guys to this breakdown. This is City GPS, Global Perspectives and Solutions. Now, this is talking about blockchain use in trade finance. Now, it talks about things around this. We have questions, right? Why have previous blockchain initiatives and pilots in trade finance failed? Mainly, it was because of it not meeting a few things around this, but also the costs associated with it. We do see the trade finance process involves verification of documents, authentication, transfer of titles from party to party, and multiple parties operating in different jurisdictions and on different platforms. And it is a mammoth coordination task. Until now, some consortiums have created bespoke blockchain and non-blockchain platforms. For example, they do mention a few ones, but the problem is that the global industry collaboration could not be achieved. This is why I said harmonization is crucial for the success of digitization of trade finance. But also there's a few other things, problematic with this. You have no legal frameworks that accept the digital documents and stuff like that. But we are starting to see adoption be focused on, which I'm very excited about, because again, this is what's changing. We're seeing a lot of change happening around this. MLETR is a big one. It's a major standard that could be the harmonized approach that we 100% need in order for digitization of trade finance to take part. And in fact, this is all from Xinfin, by the way. This is the chief operating officer with trade and payments at Xinfin. This is huge. But we do see down here, if passed, this bill will modernize old legislation such as the Bills of Exchange Act 1882 and the Carriage of Goods by Sea Act 1992, and also will make the UK one of the biggest global trading countries in the world to legalize electronic trade documents. Presently, around 80% of world trade is based on English law. So if you think about that, this will disrupt 80% of world trade immediately once this does get passed, if it does get passed. This is huge. And we also have a few other things over here as well. We do see what percentage of global trade flows will involve digitized flows and use the blockchain for part of the process by 2025, by 2030. And we do see tough to give a number, but with more countries accepting electronic trade documents, I feel we should see this percentage moving to 2 digits by 2025. By 2030 and beyond, we will likely to see greater adoption, with interoperability taking the digitized flows to higher percentages. Wider adoption will require simpler applications, low or no cost to use the basic functionalities, and new liquidity providers to support the trade. So by 2025, we can see double digits plus for digitized trade finance workflows. This is very exciting. I really do think that we are on the cusp of a massive opportunity. What is that opportunity? Well, it's the digitization and disruption of almost every major asset class. We're not just talking about trade finance. We're talking about real estate. We're talking about commodities. We're talking about everything. And it all starts with these names, with, trade finance. Trade finance is one that we've talked about many times in the past, but listen, trade finance, although it may seem like a small market, it is one of the largest markets. And I do think that if we could see this move towards digital trade, it is going to ignite the digitization move on all fronts. This is very exciting. And for XDC to still be ranging here, because I do believe that XDC will play a vital role, as I've said many, many times in the past around trade finance, as we do see this thing ranging here still, I believe that we have an incredible opportunity in front of us. The same exact way that I said it time and time again in the past. this is one that I think everyone should keep a close eye out on. I think that it should be on everyone's watch list, like we have it on 140,000 plus watch list up here. But it's not just about the price, right? It's the long-term view on XDC. Because, and I said it with a lot of assets, the long-term view is what really matters. Look at the total supply of XDC. Look at the circulating supply of XDC. Then look at XRP. Look at the market cap of some of the other tokens as well in this market that are not even doing anything of real value yet. And then come back to XDC. Because we are already seeing major initiatives on the forefront for XDC, and we are seeing major moves being taken. And I am very, very excited for the future around tokenization as a service for assets like XDC that are focused on specific use cases and specific asset classes that just a lot of people are overlooking. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if because of more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. So it's up to you all. Have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are. And this has been Nick. Peace out, guys.